The greatest falsehood we feed our youth, especially when they're young, is money doesn't grow on trees. This narrative begins in educational institutions, where we're educated to take the conventional route of securing a job and a home loan, culminating in toiling round the clock to accrue just enough money to retire at 67 and ultimately pass away. Let's cut through the chase here. Do you genuinely believe that's my recipe for raking in $67,000 every week? Obviously, there's a different mechanism at play here. And no, I'm not hinting at landing a well-paying job or launching a side gig. To pull this off, you require a method to earn money that isn't contingent on you grinding daily. It's known as passive income, and I have 7 suggestions that you should seriously contemplate, along with my personal evaluation of each. Proposal 1. Put your money in stocks. This advice has more substance than merely suggesting to invest in the stock market to earn passive income. I understand why some may interpret it this way, because if you acquire a share of a company and its value escalates, you've essentially made money effortlessly. However, to realize this wealth, you need to sell your stock. While some may classify this as passive income, I view it as a windfall, not a reliable source of earnings. My definition of passive income strictly includes regular money influx into your bank account without necessitating the sale of the asset generating the income. Consequently, the sole type of stock market investment I regard as true passive income is dividend stocks. These are portions of corporations you can purchase, such as Starbucks, Coca-Cola, and Nike. In exchange for ownership, you receive a cut of the profits directly in your pocket, and the rising value of the stock adds a little extra. It's one of the simplest ways to earn money consistently without lifting a finger. Of course, the key is selecting the right ones to invest in. It's crucial to pay close attention to the following segment to steer clear of any potential pitfalls. To distinguish the promising from the precarious, dividend stocks are categorized in a sort of societal pecking order. At the pinnacle, you have dividend aces. These are stocks that have not only distributed a dividend, but have incrementally increased it for 50 consecutive years. Beneath that, you have the dividend kings, stocks that have enhanced their dividends for 25 years. While the official classification ends here, I prefer to label those under this category as dividend jacks. Certainly, some might eventually ascend to royal status, yet predicting which will succeed is challenging. I'd proceed with caution here, as many are tempted by companies promising sky-high dividends. I get the appeal, but remember, besides the sum you're earning, it's equally vital that it's a viable long-term prospect. For an easy comparison of these 7 suggestions, I'll be assessing them in 3 distinct domains. First off, how time-consuming is dividend investing? I'll assign this a 1 out of 5, considering all it takes is to install an investing application, infuse some capital, and purchase a handful of dividend stocks. While this doesn't constitute financial guidance, some applications I'd advocate are Moomoo for the American audience, Wealthsimple for the Canadians, and Lightyear for those in the UK and Europe. These types of apps typically offer complimentary stocks to newcomers. Next, how much capital is required? I'll score this a perfect 5. Given the speed of implementation, the caveat is that you must invest a substantial amount to derive a significant income. Lastly, how straightforward is it to earn $100 per week? This too gets a full 5. Let's crunch the numbers. As dividends are computed annually and dispersed at the end of each quarter, let's start by figuring out the yearly requirement. It's quite straightforward. There are 52 weeks in a year, so multiplying that by 100 gives us $5,200. Now, suppose we invest in one of my preferred companies, Starbucks, which currently offers an annual dividend of 2.4%. To earn $5,000 per year, or $100 per week, you'd need to invest a whopping $215,000. Now, I can sense your skepticism. It sounds ideal for those who already have capital, but what about those starting from scratch? In such cases, it's wiser to leverage your time rather than your money to create passive income, which is exactly what the next suggestion entails. Proposal 2. Embark on a career as an affiliate marketer. Consider a recent instance when a major bank was promoting a campaign. For example, banks often have promotions where you can send a sign-up link to your friends, notifying them they could gain a free $10 if they installed the app. What can happen is astonishing. Every couple of hours, a new friend can register and thank you for the complimentary money. Before long, 30 of your friends have enrolled using the link. But the incentive isn't solely altruistic. You are a kind person, but you're also in it for yourself. For every sign-up, you also earn $10, resulting in you making $300 that day just by sending some messages from the comfort of your bed. And the potential earnings could be significantly more. Real affiliate marketing is uncapped, allowing for unlimited earnings. It's deemed one of the simplest and most lucrative methods to generate income online, requiring no extra skills or prior experience. As an affiliate, you simply need a passion for your niche and strong persuasive abilities. Reflect on all the products you adore and possibly utilize daily. Others are likely to appreciate these products too, and you could be the ideal person to recommend them. Many large companies operate affiliate schemes. To get involved, simply visit their websites and conduct some research. If you can't locate information, it's worthwhile to directly approach them and inquire about becoming an affiliate. Sites like Impact.com also offer numerous affiliate schemes for easy enrollment. Next, you need to create a buzz. This can be achieved through blog writing, social media use, or posting reviews. You've likely seen this in action on TikTok, with videos recommending must-have Amazon products. Each purchase made through your link rewards you with a commission. But remember, if you're reviewing items, you should actually buy and test the product. Using it over time and documenting your experience ensures your content is authentic and helpful. Before venturing into affiliate marketing, consider how you can deliver value to your audience that surpasses what you receive in return. Now, how much time does affiliate marketing require? I'd rate this 3.5 out of 5. I won't sugarcoat it. It's challenging initially, and setting realistic expectations is essential. While it's an effective online money-making method, it's not a shortcut to wealth. It demands patience and a readiness to learn. Initial lack of results can be disheartening, but remember, success in this sphere is a gradual process. Building trust with your audience and crafting valuable content is key. So, what's the initial capital required? I would rate this as 1 out of 5 because you essentially need no investment. Let's assume you already possess basic tools like a phone or a computer to create and distribute your content online. But how effortless is it to rake in $100 weekly? This gets a rating of 2 out of 5 from me. It can take some time to pull in $300 in a single day, and your efforts weren't entirely passive as you were messaging folks. Nevertheless, once your content is up and active, it does most of the hard work for you. Reports suggest that affiliate marketers pull in an annual passive income averaging $66,000, with figures ranging from $30,000 to $120,000. But what if you really don't have that much time and would rather be doing something else while the money piles up? Well, there is a solution for that, and many young entrepreneurs are doing it today, which brings us to the next idea. Option 3, automate a side hustle. Many fail to distinguish between a job and an automated side hustle. In my younger years, I had a friend named Jaron who operated a modest dog training enterprise. His skills were exceptional, and I recall witnessing him handle the wildest dogs with ease. One day, as we relaxed in the park, I inquired about his earnings, only to be astonished that he was barely making ends meet. It didn't add up how such a talented individual with obvious value to offer struggled financially. Ignoring the likelihood that he was undercharging, the real problem lay in his business model. He was limited by the hours he could sell and the number of dogs he could train. Consequently, his income potential was capped due to the inability to automate and scale his operation. But now, with the internet, these humble side hustles can become far more passive and lucrative. So, how can one transition from possessing a skill, like Jaron, to running an automated side hustle? Here are the steps I'd recommend. And I'm quite confident that I could transform a modest side hustle like Jaron's into a 7-figure enterprise in this day and age. First and foremost, pinpoint what you excel at. Ideally, you should have some kind of unique edge. But this is where most people fall into the same snare as Jamie, selling every precious minute of their time for a meager sum. Instead, you should devote all your attention to developing a digital asset. For Jamie, this could have taken the form of a blog detailing dog training, a guidebook for owners to train their pets, or a course instructing others on starting a dog training side hustle. Secondly, once you've determined the type of digital asset you wish to create, it must be made accessible online for potential customers. The most efficient tool I've come across for this is Hostinger, an all-in-one platform. It offers hosting, website building, logo designing, and a free domain name with an annual plan. My preference would be for this platform, given its user-friendly drag-and-drop website builder, as I lack coding expertise. The next step involves adeptly marketing your digital product on social media. I'd strongly suggest creating viral TikTok content about your product, as it allows reaching a vast audience without significant time or effort. So, how time-intensive is it to automate a side hustle? Well, if you're handling it solo, I'd score it a full 5, considering the time it takes to craft a digital product, along with the additional burden of setting up a website. However, if you opt for something like Hostinger, I'd rate this a 3 out of 5, as it eliminates the need for any technical or design proficiency for the website. You can simply employ the built-in AI website builder to establish your website. Alternatively, you can utilize designer-created templates, which is fantastic for those less technologically inclined, like myself. However, for those with a deeper understanding, you can expand your website using the WordPress option. Next, let's address the capital required. I'd rate this a 1 out of 5, as this method of generating passive income relies more on time investment than financial outlay. The digital product you aim to create will dictate the cost, but if it's a course of some sort, you can do it all from your laptop using software like Canva. As for making it available online, if you opt for Hostinger's 2-year plan, it works out to under $3 per month. Finally, let's tackle the question everyone is waiting for. How straightforward is it to earn $100 a week? I'd grade this a 1 out of 5 because once you're operational and say you set your digital product's price at $25, you need only secure 4 sales a week to reach the $100 mark. So, within a few weeks, you can recoup your investment and start turning a profit. This task is reasonably simple if you're consistently posting TikTok videos. You might even strike it big with a viral video and generate far more sales than initially projected, which naturally leads us to Idea 4. Create online content. For years, countless millions have been amassed by conventional media outlets. I'm referring to radio stations and TV networks. The public remained largely oblivious to the vast sums in advertising until YouTube permitted public content creation. This act pulled back the curtain definitively. The traditional media despised this change, seizing any chance to undermine social media. Those capitalizing on online content are reaching into the previously fiercely protected treasure chest and claiming their rightful portion. It continues to amaze me how some people fail to comprehend how content creators earn money. The concept of advertising is centuries old, and online ads are far more measurable than simply broadcasting a random advert on TV and hoping it boosts a company's sales. The best advice I've received about social media is this: it's not a matter of if you engage in it, but how effectively you do so. So, how can we utilize social media to generate income? Well, as I've mentioned before, you can establish a YouTube channel. Once you've reached 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 hours of watch time, you can begin to profit from the ads displayed on your videos. Whenever I share this idea with people, a common retort is, those who succeed are just lucky. Perhaps that held some truth a few years ago, but now, if your content is high quality and tailored to the platform's algorithm, you can certainly succeed. The bitter truth is that many creators believe their content is excellent when in fact, it's subpar, and no one is prepared to deliver that harsh news. This is because they often seek feedback from friends and family who may sugarcoat the truth to spare their feelings. If you want a frank critique, it's best to ask people who won't hesitate to offend you. Value the opinions of those who aren't afraid to be candid with you. Your best bet is to choose a medium you're most comfortable with, whether that's writing, photography, podcasting, or producing full-length videos. If you can hold an audience's attention, then you're on the right path. Also, it's crucial to select a specific niche. In the early days of the internet, creators could discuss a broad range of topics. However, due to the fierce competition now, it's crucial to specialize. It's akin to your favorite TV show. Every time you tune in, you have certain expectations concerning characters, settings, and plot lines. Likewise, your viewers should know what type of content you offer and when to expect it. This clarity also simplifies the process of securing sponsorships. Personally, I view every video I upload to this channel as a small asset that will generate revenue for years to come. And of course, creating content is incredibly enjoyable. Now, let's discuss the time investment. I'd rate content creation a 5 out of 5 as it's among the most time-consuming tasks out there. I won't mince words. producing content is a long, arduous process. For instance, this video likely took more than 5 days to produce. However, in my view, the rewards justify the effort. Remember, the more challenging an endeavor is, the less competition you face. Moving on to the financial investment, I'd rate this a 1 out of 5 as you don't need substantial capital to start. I often see people splurging on the latest equipment or enrolling in extensive courses to learn content creation, which I believe is misguided. Instead, immerse yourself in the type of content you aspire to create, drawing inspiration from various sources and combining these elements with your unique ideas. There's a fantastic book on this topic titled Steal Like an Artist. So, how feasible is it to earn $100 a week? Well, this also merits a 1 out of 5 rating. A few months after launching this YouTube channel, it started making over $100 per day. And you could do the same. It's no surprise that traditional media wanted to monopolize this revenue stream. The opportunity is extraordinary. Idea 5. Develop a digital solution. My closest buddy took a leap of faith and did just this. Now, he's a wealthy man who spends more time holidaying with his wife than at his residence. He identified a void in the market for a digital tool that assisted large membership organizations in managing all their customer information. His initial approach was to sell his software as a single purchase. However, he always found himself in the hunt for a new client. The moment he transitioned to a subscription-based model, he found himself earning a very steady monthly passive income. I mean, yes, passive income. He did initially provide customer support, but eventually outsourced this task, making it entirely hands-off. He later sold his enterprise for a colossal sum in the millions. Don't jump to the conclusion that you need to be some tech whiz to develop a digital tool. Listen to this. The vital step is to pinpoint a problem that demands a solution. You often find that individuals who possess coding skills lack creativity and need clear direction. So if coding is not your forte, you can be the visionary, the strategic mind behind the coder. Next, you need to decide who your software will cater to. You have 2 primary categories: businesses or consumers. Catering to other businesses is often seen as less risky, and you can pull in more income per client. Once you have this, you can gauge how people react to your solution. Be careful not to get too emotionally attached to your ideas, as you may discover it doesn't resolve the problem you targeted. Hence, it's crucial to be open to adjusting your digital tool following feedback. Even if you don't feel ready to kickstart this immediately, it's worth jotting down issues you notice businesses grappling with, just in case you chance upon an unexplored solution. So, what's the time investment for creating a digital tool? I rate this a full 5 out of 5. Not just the ideation process, but also the testing and crafting of the tool are time-consuming. So, if you opt for this route, be aware of the commitment. Don't spend years crafting the final tool before you test it, though. I've seen numerous individuals fall into this trap only to realize they've spent years on a product no one desires. However, as I pointed out with my friend, if you do create an exceptional digital tool, it will yield a consistent stream of passive income and the added perk of potentially selling it for millions. So, what's the investment required? I'd rate this a 3.5 out of 5, as building something of this nature is undoubtedly going to require a reasonable amount of money. However, there are 2 strategies you can employ to cut down your costs. First, you could collaborate with a coder, eliminating the need to pay for their time, but you would have to relinquish some equity. Second, once you've developed the initial version of your product, or MVP, and it shows promise, you'll begin to draw the attention of angel investors. At this juncture, you'll need to decide whether to continue self-financing, also known as bootstrapping, or accept investment in exchange for offering a portion of your business's equity. But the critical inquiry: how feasible is it to earn $100 per week? I'd grade this as 1 out of 5. If you manage to create and fund it to the point where it's market ready, and you were to set your subscription price at $20 a month, then you'd need just 20 paying subscribers to be earning $100 a week. Naturally, you'll have other costs, but these will be largely confined to customer support and software updates. Chances are, you'll charge significantly more than $20 a month and have well over 20 subscribers. I must shell out at least $1,000 a month on digital tools, so there's undoubtedly money to be made. Idea 6. Engage in private investing. Picture yourself as a Shark Tank investor. An entrepreneur approaches with an exceptional business you believe you can enhance, seeking funds to scale. You have a chance to invest at the ground level of this enterprise. Are you ready to take the risk? Suppose you're conversing with a family member who shares their concept for a groundbreaking business and only needs a modest initial investment. If you find yourself answering yes, then private investing could be a suitable path for you. The first step is to identify the type of private investor you wish to be. Generally, there are two main categories: sharks and angels. Some investors remain angels, while others evolve into sharks. But understanding the distinction can be beneficial. Angels often invest in businesses run by friends and family. They typically don't have substantial funds or desire to control the business. They're generally viewed as more benevolent and forgiving, hence the moniker. Conversely, sharks might invest small sums, but usually have deeper pockets. They might also seek a controlling stake from the outset, confident that their expertise can enhance the business's profitability and, consequently, their investment. Personally, I lean more towards the shark persona, as I prefer to maintain as much control over my investments as possible. Regardless of the private investment approach you choose, it can be successfully coupled with content creation. Believe it or not, actor Ryan Reynolds provides an excellent illustration of this strategy. He's among the most astute individuals globally right now. And I'm not being hyperbolic. He's adept at portraying the everyman. But beneath the surface, he's a savvy venture capitalist with numerous multi-million-dollar exits, resulting in a net worth exceeding $350 million. He identifies promising companies, invests as an angel investor, leverages his social media to increase the company's value, and reaps a substantial payout when the company sells, a method that generates a largely passive income stream. It's brilliant. Certainly, Ryan is a global superstar, but his strategy can be emulated on a smaller scale to yield significant passive income. Even if you achieve just 1% of his success, it would equate to a net worth of $3.5 million. As for the time commitment for private investing, I'd rate it a 2.5 out of 5. It requires time to identify a business worthy of your investment. It's crucial not to rush into anything. Take your time. Carefully consider if the business has a viable future, and ask the entrepreneur about their dividend payout plans and ultimate exit strategy. These are the mechanisms by which you'll secure most of your returns. The actual act of investing doesn't take long. It involves simply transferring funds and having your business ownership percentage allotted. Now, how much capital do you need? I'd rate this a 3 out of 5, as it truly depends on the particular business you're investing in. My investments have ranged from $1,000 to $100,000. Naturally, the earlier you get in, the less you'll have to invest, but you'll also be accepting more risk. Therefore, you need to evaluate your personal risk tolerance. If you venture into private investing, I'd also advise diversifying with more than one investment. My experience has shown that a single successful investment can compensate for 9 unsuccessful ones. Lastly, let's examine how straightforward it is to make $100 a week. I'm giving this a 2 out of 5 rating, as it heavily depends on your negotiation skills and the amount you invest. For instance, I invested $5,000 in a business, assisted them in upgrading their equipment, and helped grow their client base. As a result, I began earning an easy $100 per week in dividends. The more value you can contribute, the higher your returns will be. Instead of taking money from the entrepreneur's pocket, you're helping to enlarge the wealth pot for everyone involved. We've covered investing in assets and creating your own, but one avenue that frequently gets neglected is capitalizing on the assets you already possess, leading us to Idea 7, lease your belongings. A lot of people are oblivious to the fact that they're literally sitting on a treasure trove and might already own what they require to generate passive income. I recall a couple of years ago, a friend confided in me that he was finding it tough to keep up with his bills. I proposed that he lease his driveway for some extra passive income. He initially laughed it off, but a few weeks later, he texted me confirming it was working wonderfully. This was because he resided near a train station, which meant he could impose a fee of $80 a week for people to park their cars in his drive while they were off to work commuting. His driveway could accommodate 2 cars, enabling him to earn an additional $160 a week in passive income. I recognize that not everyone possesses a driveway to lease, but most individuals have something they could utilize to earn money. Compile a list of all your possessions and examine if anything seems lucrative. Some ideas that come to mind include storage areas like attics or basements, vehicles, camping gear, photographic equipment, garages, or a spare room in your house, or even money, if I dare say. Surely you could consider purchasing a second property to lease out, but this would necessitate a substantial amount of money. The world is undeniably getting more accustomed to renting items as they become increasingly pricey. Leasing your items could be an excellent strategy to actually justify the initial asset purchase. For instance, if I knew that a pricey camera would pay for itself after a certain number of rentals, wouldn't it be logical to buy it? Once you've figured out what you can lease to others, all you need is an app that connects you with potential clients. There's an abundance of these. I've previously utilized Fat Llama to lease camera gear and camping equipment, Turo for vehicles, and Airbnb for filming locations. Peer-to-peer lending platforms also allow you to essentially lease your money to others. While it carries some risk, many lenders have managed to create a nice income stream from this investment. For instance, Prosper, one of the prominent platforms, boasts an average historical return of 5.4%. So, if you're open to taking a slight risk, this might be a great option to consider. So, what's the time commitment for renting something out? I'd rate this as 1 out of 5 because all you need to do is snap a few pictures and upload them onto an app or a website that does all the heavy lifting. The most significant downside is the potential risk associated with this. Not everyone will treat your items with the same care you would. That's why it's essential to have some form of insurance. Typically, this is provided by the platform you choose to use. So, how much capital do you need? I'd also rate this as 1 out of 5 because if you're merely leasing things you already own, it's not going to cost you anything. The only expense will be if you decide to obtain additional insurance, or you decide you want to purchase items specifically to lease them out. And the critical question, how simple is it to make $100 a week? I'd assign this a 2 out of 5 as it's quite straightforward if you have sufficient assets to lease. Most people have a property they can utilize to generate an additional $100 a week, even if that implies leasing a driveway or an extra room. If you're interested in learning how you can stay ahead of everyone else this year, then be sure to check out our videos. And before you start clicking away, don't forget to subscribe if you're keen on expanding your wealth. Wanna be rich? Then subscribe to my channel to a world of more possibilities. Don't forget to click the like button. See you in the next video.